Next on the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for your patience. We had a meeting go a little long. We appreciate you being here and sticking it out. I have some changes to the agenda, or additions, I should say. One, we're going to look for a motion to trade the Spin Doctor for a hydraulic chainsaw with Edgemont. We're going to look for a motion to purchase a new truck for the water department. And I'm going to add, Craig, I'm still going to add it so we can just have the discussion, okay? Under committee reports, a report from the Fall River Regional Waste Management District. So those are the three additions to the agenda. Anybody want to?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Minutes from April 6th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Bills in between.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Current claims.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
There's going to be a question with regard to Lawrence and Schiller, and he said that that was advertisement.
They are an advertising firm. Is that from the chamber?
It's BID. The Business Improvement District has entered into
The
a
bid
contract
for it.
with Lawrence and Schuler for the marketing and advertising for this season.
Thank you.
And that's just progress billing.
Yeah, they're the primary advertiser with the bid board.
That's all I have.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I have a question, page 9, American Fossil. Is that something that had to be done now, could it have waited?
We needed to, this is the plunge, correct? And then we needed to replace a lot of the locking mechanisms on the lockers. They were broken, and the tourists do use the lockers.
Was it in his budget?
They actually pay for themselves, the lockers do. So we're paying for it out of maintenance, but we do get that back. We had, I don't remember how much, several thousand in quarters, put in the lockers. So they do self-pay for themselves. And tourists do like to be able to lock up their stuff. Okay? All right. Yep, thank you. Any other discussion? You sure? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And does that include credit cards, or we do want to do that separately? Are you guys all in agreement credit cards as part of that?
Yep.
All right. Communications from the public. I was told that Mr. Mark Hatch would like to talk about property rights.
Get this out of the way first. This is a dirty little town, dirty little cops, dirty little politicians, dirty little lawyers. The people, the city, helped that evil witch, Linda Varvel, steal my property. Then Benny Hatch steal my property. I'm now a pauper. Got me a criminal record now. I've never been in trouble with the law before. All because you guys wanted, the city wanted to put a more expensive building on that property and get higher property taxes.
Can you give us the address of the property you were on?
1014 Fresno, if you didn't know. You bulldozed my house. Just a couple weeks ago, I was up at the library there, and I saw my white 1962 Corvair that was stolen from me by Benny Hatch. Somebody, he apparently sold to somebody. They're driving around, plus all my other vehicles that were stolen. But you guys don't do anything about the Seegers up there. They had more vehicles than we ever had. They had so many they had to keep them on other people's property. I figured out how come they got a pass there. They've been paying off the cops there because they are apparently drug dealers. I sit there. I had a security camera sit up there. I could see a cars coming down, turn around right in front of my house there. I look up the corner there and I can see them stopping up their Seegers. So I figure they must be selling drugs there. Dirty little cops there protecting them. But you don't care. You just got what you want. Ripped me off there and I'm poverty broken. No property left. All because you helped that evil witch steal, that greedy evil witch steal property after my dad died.
I am not familiar with all the.
Oh, look there at Romy there. He had a hand in it, that little stinker.
I did, Mark.
Yes, you did. I saw you up there with Linda and with Betty. I heard what you said about getting me off that property.
I know.
Wasn't the property condemned?
Yeah.
Was a damn thing wrong with the house except I need to fix the roof there. If I was ill there, I wasn't able to get to fix it there, but I had a guy who was going to help me fix it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hatch, but I just, could you go ahead with the property rights stuff on them? Because what we discussed now is all done, said, and over.
What property rights? I don't have no property rights. Nobody has any property rights unless you let them have it.
Is that your statement you'd like to make?
That's what I have to say of this stinking little town. Not going to save you people. I hope whoever buys that has as much trouble as those people in that movie Poltergeist did with that property.
You go by Bob or Robert?
Just Nick.
Robert went on that.
Behind you,
My
Nick,
bad,
sorry.
Robert went on that.
I was told that you had a communication as well.
Well, just for a minute or so.
Okay, thank you.
At the close of the last council meeting, there was some discussion concerning property taxes, and I would like to make a clarification, a retraction, and an apology to yourself and to Councilman Ashley. You are correct. In the last 4 years, the city has not requested an increase in the amount of money that they've taken from taxes. So the increased portion that I have been paying on my taxes for the city have just basically been due to
Percentage.
assessment valuations, and the multiplier, I think, is the phrase that Sue at the auditor's office mentioned. So anyway, I wanted to apologize to the two of you. You guys were correct. It was a case of I am paying a little bit more, but it isn't because you had an increase.
That's correct.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
appreciate that, thank you. Yep. Thank you. Any other communications from the public? Come on, Gerald.
I'll make this quick.
Thanks.
Can everybody hear okay in the back? Is the mic picking up all right? Yeah. All right. We're speaking in the
I
mic.
turned it on.
We invite others to come up to Butler Park for soccer games. We've invited, well, at least when they had the fire out at Wind Cave, the guys moved in, set up their tents. I guess my complaint is a lot of dog droppings up there in the park because people don't pick up after their dogs. That's the first thing. Second thing, there definitely is a sign up there that says, what, $100 fine for dogs not on a leash. Living right there, we see a lot of that. In other words, not picking up after the dogs, and at the same time, dogs running loose, not on a leash. Just wondering is there an ordinance that would cover some of that besides the sign?
We can look into having that enforced
Okay.
more.
Our,
Do we have doggy bag things there at that park?
We do,
Maybe
yes.
that's something we can look at, having more of those there as well.
okay, and yeah, the other thing is, someday when we do get a dog park in town, are we gonna have the same problems? Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Any other communications from the public? All right.
Going pretty good, don't ask for any.
Yeah. We're on a roll here. All right. For personnel, I'd like to propose that we do A through H as just one motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion? Opposed? Motion carried for A through H. I think I said aye. Did I? Okay. Going to I, Ray was the mechanic when we didn't have a mechanic, and now he's going back to seasonal maintenance. So these are just informational only, I believe the rest of them, right? Yes. Okay. So we'll go to resolutions. A, resolution proclaiming May Wildfire Awareness Month.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Just wanted to make the public aware that their theme for this year is do your part before wildfires start. And given all the fires that we've had in town already this year, I just wanted to encourage people to do their part and make sure that we're safe, especially in city limits for these fires. Thank you for passing that. Resolution B, designating vacant liquor license to be used at Southern Hills Golf Course. Resolution 15-28.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I think Wes beat you by a second there.
No,
No,
No.
Oh, it's Tim, I'm sorry. Sorry, I saw your lips moving. All right. So I have a second from Tim. All in favor, or discussion, I'm sorry, discussion.
You know, at the last meeting, we had it on there just for discussion only, and then I find it very odd, the very next meeting, we're gonna go ahead and go through with this. We had a little opposition, and there's probably gonna be some new restaurants and bars maybe looking for a license here real shortly, so I just don't feel that this is something we should be doing.
I think that we had letters from what, 2 businesses?
It was at least 3.
Three
The
total.
ball-
Well, but 2,
Yes.
and
Oh, yeah.
saying they didn't mind it. Well, they're saying they don't mind the business being open just a few months out of the year. It's not gonna compete against them. It's not like some other business taking that liquor license and being open all year. So I think it's actually advantageous for them for the license to be at the golf course instead of the new business. So I think that kind of makes their comments irrelevant, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because you're gonna lose sales tax from a business that possibly could be using this year round, plus you're gonna lose the, whatever dollar amount we set that it's worth, be it 10,000 or 30,000, you're gonna lose that money.
I have a comment from Kim Moore.
Is it true, this is what I heard, regarding this license, even in a year, all golf courses are gonna be able to sell liquor?
That is something that's with state legislature.
So whether or not they get the license right now, in a year, they're gonna be able to.
It's being proposed that each municipality gets an additional license for public golf courses to be used, and that would offset the ones they dedicate to be used in the municipality. But again, that's at the mercy of the legislature. If the state passes that, yes.
Thanks, you're correct. Any other discussion before we,
I was going to suggest we could even have it as for, well, it has a renewal or review every year anyway. I mean, we could do this for a year anyway, and then see what comes up from the
Your
legislature.
first review would actually be at this upcoming
Yeah.
budget session. It'd be 2015, you'll read.
But then you have an investment you've made in liquor and whatever you're buying and whatever you do to make it into a bar.
It'd be at the council's discretion then to continue it throughout the season, to, use the merchandise and then not reorder after the season ends. That kind of goes along with item 5.
But if you lost the
Planning to
license, if you lost the license and budget, you can't continue to sell alcohol.
You could set when you go for the budget.
Where would the money for this alcohol come from?
It would come out of the golf course's current 2015
Well, she
budget.
can't have it in her budget because it's something new,
Exactly.
That's very true.
so it's not budgeted for.
She could adjust her spending in other areas.
That's how it works, is you adjust your spending to make a new product. And I
What's
believe
the
if you
budget for if you can adjust your spending so you can go?
Within her
to the bar?
budgeted amount.
Yeah, but what kind of a budget is that? If you can just jump money around for whatever you want.
Well, she has a budget for beer.
Pretty much all the departments do that when emergencies come up and stuff.
If it's not an emergency, you
Well,
have a
even
bar.
other things.
Well, so she would buy more liquor than beer, is that the idea?
Or she would take it out of her maintenance budget. They're only statutorily only required to toe the line on the total dollar amount of the budget, not on each line item.
Yeah.
So if she,
$60,000 for golf carts, you're not planning on purchasing for 2015.
But
You have
you
60,000
couldn't
on
take it
farm.
out of golf carts, right?
It'd be within the
Sure you could.
same
You
budget.
put out of.
we would take it out of the right place, but she
Right.
would have to keep herself, if she had, I don't know.
You would
we said
overspend on one,
10,000.
underspend on the other, and
Correct.
offset.
Right.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul for losing venture, basically.
Within her budget. She wouldn't get to rob Peter, she'd rob Paul to pay Paul.
Paul the Paul Jr.
I was curious about the expense of the TAM certification.
Of the
That's a
what?
free service. Okay. They'd all have to have that. All the people that sold the liquor would have to get certified, but it sounds like that's free service, so.
Internet.
Oh, good.
I just don't think the city should be competing on free enterprise. It's just,
We do sell beer currently.
I realize that. But you're just going more and more, you're just adding to it. I know we do certain things now, but to just keep adding to it just because we already do it is not a good answer for me, I guess.
Call the vote.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all in favor of the vacant liquor license going to the golf course?
It'd be motion to pass resolution 2015.
I think I had a
We got a
second.
motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a
Wanna make
motion
sure
and a
it's
second.
With the 5 stipulations.
So all in favor?
Aye.
I just, point of order before we go. Do we need to specify with the 5?
No,
No.
it would just be to pass the resolution.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I know I've got 4.
Tim, Georgia, Deanna, and Dorit.
Show of
So I have
hands.
4
Show
in
of
favor.
hands.
Yeah, let's, all in favor?
All in
pretty
favor? Aye.
Aye. Okay.
We got 4 to 4. So motion failed. Okay. Page 2. All right, so old business. We tabled on the 6th a motion to set and approve matching funds for airport T-hangers. I see Ed's here, if there's any more questions for him. But we basically either need to decide on a percentage amount, a figure, or whatever you would like.
I currently agree with what Carol Ann said at the last meeting. This is something that is not a necessity at this point in time, and I don't think we need to go along with it.
Any other discussion?
I did some research on some of our leases that we have out there, and right now, we don't get any, from our leases, we don't get any, which would substitute for tax revenue. I mean, they're like $1 a year. We've got some issues probably that need to be addressed. We do get money a little bit from the sales tax from the fuel that's being sold out there. We have a possibility if we do sell gravel to peat lands, that funding or that money does have to be spent there. So right now, I guess I'm going to recommend that we probably wait.
I guess when we done the budget last year, one of the things I asked when we came on the airport budget was, no, we're not gonna come up in the middle of the year and want $100,000 more than what you got budgeted like they did the year before. And I'm sorry, Ed, but you said yes, you weren't gonna do that. So.
Only 500,000.
So, but anyway, I guess I gotta go along with, I guess, you know,
Well, I
the
could-
way the paperwork is got now, it shows that our share, you know, if you ask for 30%, for us to pay 30% is $100,000. I just can't go with that. I don't see, I see us a long time getting any of it back.
About 3.5 years.
You what?
About 3.5 years.
If they remain full.
And that doesn't include other.
Could you come at budget time with this and let us look at the overall city
No.
budget?
Can I ask a question, Ed?
Sure. Yeah, Ed, come on up. You're so quiet back there.
That's why I sat in the back.
I know.
That's why we have this chair sitting here to put you on the hot seat.
But I think it's good to have a dialogue and make sure the council understands. And I think we should talk about what's happening on the 28th as well, make sure
I
they're
guess
aware of it.
that's where I was gonna go, on the 28th. Can you go to that on the 28th and say, talk them like we could get it for, we pay 10%, which is like 35,000?
We could present the
And
city.
if they go along with that, then we can project that into our 2016 budget?
The city could present whatever they want in percentage. It's just up to the state and what they want to kick in.
But that's what I'm saying, is if we decided, like, say, we wanted to pay 40,000 or 45,000 or 30,000 or whatever,
Yeah.
and present that to them, and then set it up so that we would budget that for our 2016 for the airport, whereas right now we have nothing budgeted in the airport for buildings. So that way we'd be covered under our budget.
Yeah, like I say, the city, we're going the 28th regardless. And Nolan, I guess, is still planning on going. Larry Betterman and I are going before the State Aeronautics Commission. And you can throw out a number and we can take it there and see what they say. And go from there. This is just trying to get our fingers in there to see what they'll do.
I guess I'd go along with it if we get, you know, if we want to decide on a number that we could budget for next year. 30% of what he says now is 100,000, 10% is 33,000. So it'd be a 90-10 split.
Where, Misty, where are they at on their budget so far this year, do you know?
At the end of March, they were 37.89% of the budget spent already.
I guess my thing is, until we get our housekeeping in order, I just, we gotta just tighten up. I mean, we gotta quit spending anything until we actually get some information back and until we can get into our next budget session, because it's really hard to try to give people money when you don't know where you're setting.
Well, that's why I'm saying we wouldn't do this till.
I wouldn't commit to anything at this point.
I'd like to see him come back at budget time and then let us look at the budget and see what we have, because we've got some real problems and we need to work through them and see what kind of money we've got. It's not that we don't want you to have the hangar or we don't support it. It doesn't sound like a good deal. I just don't think we have the money right now to put aside for it.
You see, last year, I didn't figure that we was gonna get so many planes in and fill up the hangar space. And like I said before, we got probably 6, if this 10 unit already spoken for. Last week, Barb got a call from City Hall and gave me a message that some Life Flight Corporation was seen from the paper that we was trying to get these hangars. So I called the guy and he said, well, I seen this and we're possibly interested in coming to Hot Springs. And what do you have to offer us? And I
They've
said,
got the land and they can build them.
that's what I told him.
We've done that in the past.
Yeah.
We've absolutely done that in the past.
That's what I told him.
Then he can lease them out.
Well, this is just for a Life Flight plane.
But if any individual wants to do it either,
Yeah.
I mean, they,
I told him what the rates were, per square foot. Supposedly, he said they were gonna come out this week and look things over. So, I just hate to turn people down because it's money coming into the city.
Well, we do too, but, we spent $90,000 over your budget last year.
Yeah.
And we just don't want to repeat that again. And that is exactly what this would do.
See, and I thought that hangar, last year Harley was gonna borrow the money to pay for that. I didn't know he was gonna pay the whole shooting match right out. Because that's what he bought. That's what we agreed on when we sold it, is that, 5 years.
there's a 5-year
Yeah,
payback.
when those guys, the fighter club, here wrote us a thing that they'd rent it for 5 years. And they'd pay it off, but I didn't know we was gonna pay it off all at one time.
I didn't either. But it is.
Oh, I know it is now.
Done deal.
I didn't have nothing to do with that, so.
Sure is.
Have to slap Harley's hand.
Yeah, that'd be kinda hard.
Blame it on the dead guy, go ahead.
Yeah.
I didn't, he didn't.
Okay.
I think we need hangars out there too,
Yeah.
but until we can afford it, I think we do. But
See, if the city had the money to do this, you're gonna get it paid off with what we're taking in hangar rent now, 20-some thousand dollars a year. Plus, if we rent all them 10 units, it'd be more like, be 30-some, close to $40,000 a year.
But we're cutting the budget for 3 years at least. The next, we're gonna be tying somebody's hands because who are we gonna cut from next year to come up with 100,000?
So,
Street department? No, I don't think so.
Are there any more questions for Ed?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ed. We're gonna
yeah.
take a vote on,
On what?
There's nothing.
nothing.
No motion?
No motion. No motion, I'm sorry, okay. So that just-
I believe the consensus is that we don't want to do this. I'm one of them.
Well, I wanna build hangars, but we can't afford it right now.
That's exactly where
We
we're
need
at.
to get our finances.
Okay, so I.
What I'd like to see is if they could go to this meeting and present this and find out what we could get for the state, do we have to commit to it right then?
No.
Excuse me, I can't hear you.
No.
No.
So if you guys went to this meeting on the 28th and said, well, Hot Springs is thinking about like 30,000 or a 90-10 split, if they said yes, then you could come back here and we could say, okay, this is what the state said they'll do for us, then we could vote on it at that time.
Or you could budget for it for
And
2016.
budget for it for the next year.
Yep.
Why can't we do that at budget time instead of now? Because we're already
Because
giving
the
away
meeting
money
is, the
in
meeting is the
16.
28th is
I
why.
know.
But there's a meeting every year, right?
We did just
You
say you could budget for 2016 on the budget.
If there's the money there. Right. But I think we need to look at the budget and, get things in order before we start giving away more money.
Are you saying not to take the meeting then? Is that
No,
what
the
you're?
meeting's great.
Okay, that's what Jim's
Sure.
proposing, we
Yeah.
take it.
I'm just saying not
understand
commit to something for
Just don't
16.
commit a
But
number.
we sit down in our
Don't
budget.
commit a number.
and look
That's
at
what
that.
I'm saying too, is not commit anything, but see if the state would go 90-10 with us.
Well, you're still committing
Well, I think
10.
it's kind
No,
of,
you're not.
No, you're not.
it's kind of an
Just
open
don't throw
discussion with
them
them,
out.
right?
You're just
On the
asking
28th.
them. If they say yes, then we know where to
We
go.
already know that whatever we want to offer, we can do. That's,
If they say no, then it's a done deal.
If there's no discussion of numbers, then our trip there's kind of pointless.
And is the format of that meeting like an open discussion? Okay,
It isn't just for this one question.
no. They're not having a meeting just for us.
Does this meeting happen yearly?
Yes.
More often than that even. Yeah. Okay, so I did not get a motion on old business A, so we're just gonna move to new business, and I'm gonna cover my two new ones before we get to that. I need, motion to trade the Spin Doctor that is in disrepair for the hydraulic chainsaw with Edgemont.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
And then under discussion, I'd like to know what the trade is and what it's gonna cost us.
I got it. The trade includes no monetary value. The trade is for our unworking Spin Doctor, which we've already replaced. We're trading with Edgemont. They have a hydraulic operated chainsaw package plus some clamps and adapters and hose that was just purchased in 2012 as part of the grant that they got. They don't use that. They don't need it. And they see some value in our.
We have larger pipes than they do in Edgemont, so they don't really need the equipment, whereas we could use it because of the size of our pipes in our water system.
This
That answers
exchange
my
would
question.
cost anything.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have a hydraulic chainsaw coming. All right, the other motion that I added was the purchase of a Silverado for the water department. The training went out of their truck, and they're looking for the council to approve purchasing this '09 Silverado for $15,000 or $15,800, depending on.
Listed at 15.8.
Make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
And this is coming from state surplus,
Yes.
Under the water department.
and this is a four-wheel drive or a two-wheel drive?
Four-wheel drive.
So I guess, and this will be for who?
For the water department,
It's replacing the Ranger.
How old is the Ranger?
98.
And how old is this vehicle?
09.
How many miles on it?
52,000.
So does anybody check on putting transmission in the old one before we
Yes.
surplus it?
It'd be more than the value of the vehicle. If we were to replace it, this would be surplus at the auction.
I'm talking a used transmission.
Still more than the value of the vehicle. It's a 98 Ranger with over 100,000 miles on it.
I think it's
Is
got
it in
more
their
than
budget?
100,000.
Yeah, more than 100,000.
180, I believe.
And they do have the money for it.
They come out of the water fund and then be appropriated to the water department budget.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. New business A, informational. New business B. Last meeting, we had a request from Mr. Shannon to donate $5,000 to the Miss South Dakota Scholarship Program. We would like to vote on that this time. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we give them 5,000. This South Dakota's been in this town a long time, and there's a lot of other cities wanting to get it.
That's true. I'll second.
Any discussion?
Where will we get the money from?
Sales tax?
Sales tax or contingency.
They do bring a lot, they fill up the hotels, they do eat at the restaurants.
They do all that, and we're glad to have them, but we do give them something in their use of the Mueller. I asked Don DeFreeze if he remembered how much it is. I'd heard 8,000. It's not like we don't contribute something to Miss South Dakota. And I think that's all we can do right now. It's just my opinion.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I would like to see this in our budget for next year rather than before our budget time, because we're still working on our paperwork.
I believe he said he would do that the last meeting.
Yes.
Any other discussion?
Yes. With regard to what we talked about today, new forms are going to be coming out with regard to anybody asking the city for money. They have to fill this form out, and they have to provide documentation of finances, balance sheets, and records. So this is something that's coming out this year.
And requested by our audit.
And because they ought to guess.
Yes.
And I've made a request that we take all the questions for money or the requests for help from different aspects of our community and not commit to any during our budget hearings, that we do our city business first, we do that budget first, and then we look at what we have left to give to these different organizations, because we are giving away taxpayer dollars, and I think we need to be judicious in that.
Good idea.
Any comments from the community? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you for your comments. Item C, motion to approve the following parades through downtown Hot Springs. I'll let you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
These are the standard
I think there's
parades that we have.
one addition, right? The Freedom Ride Parade? Is that new? No?
We had that big last year as well.
Okay.
Held in August, I want to say.
Wasn't that when they brought the wall to town?
So Kim, can maybe you help us with that? There, since the wall's not coming, do you have any idea of what that would be then?
I don't know the date of that. It is on that Sunday. I don't have. a
During
calendar.
rally?
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
Isn't that just a large ride so that it get the people out of town?
It does. It starts up at the state home.
It's not necessarily per se a parade, really, it's just,
No, it's just a big, huge
it's just a.
escort.
Okay. So it's the one that starts at the state home, goes through town, and then heads out?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I think I got a second on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll have some parades. That's good. D is to support the parades and have the American Legion Riders, Chapter 71, help do traffic control. They did this last year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? E, we have a change order for the trickling filter. It's in your packets.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I take it that this money is coming from the sewer fund.
You are correct.
And what it was, at the lower ring that the whole tower sets on was really not visible when the contract was made. And once they got it tore down enough to where they could see what was going on, it was determined that it's
Bad.
bad, that it needs fixed.
I don't know, look at it.
Does this fall in the percentages?
Yes.
Some of that.
It's not more than what it should be.
Yeah.
It's not,
I'm sorry, Carolyn.
It's not more than what the percentage of the bill, but.
it is bad.
It's not more than what I'm saying.
It's not more than the percentage of the bill, you know, whatever,
10% threshold.
it's not more than.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, appointment of council member or members to the Board of Equalization, and I do believe they have a meeting tomorrow.
I'd like to nominate Georgia. I believe you were there last year.
Yeah, and we have paperwork here for all of it, so you gave that to me after. last
Okay.
week.
Anybody else interested in participating in those exciting discussions? Very important discussions. I would welcome another volunteer for that, actually.
I'll volunteer.
These are paid,
Oh, they're paid,
yeah.
even better. I
We
would,
normally have two.
Usually there's one.
just one. Who pays?
The county, but they can pay two people, that's okay with me, they got
Well, why?
plenty of money.
Why is there, yeah, why is there an S? I mean, was there an opportunity for more than one?
The impression last year, was there two last year? Just one?
Oh,
There, that's what the S was there.
And for the two prior years to that, I was on it, and it was only one person.
I think that's where I received information. I knew you were on it at one point, and so was Georgia. I thought it was last year both were, so.
No.
we just need to-
I'm fine with that. Georgia does a lot. So I'm, keeps her out of trouble. Do we want one or two? I'm okay with two. if They're okay with two,
Well, I think we better find out from the county if they're.
but- All right, well, for sure, Georgia.
I'd say just go with the one, that's what's in, that's cool.
Now, is this hearing appeals or what?
Yeah. There's a date from the city.
Is this deal here?
There's, I mean, that's an open meeting tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I encourage all property owners to attend. Okay, Georgia, you're it. Thank you. Go to committee reports, unless I'm, oh, yeah, that's it for me. Committee reports, Carl, promotions, or admin and promotions. I know you had a lively meeting.
Yeah. Admin was at April 17th at 2 p.m. We updated the hiring on vacant positions, and one being the planning administrator that we had an acceptance on, and the lady that's going to become the planning administrator has quite the resume. So she's very, very astute to what the job is and what she's going to be doing. We also had another position would be the maintenance person for the city, but primarily the plunge to begin with. And that person will rotate around the city to take care of other maintenance issues within the city. It's not going to be just the plunge. We had discussion,
Yeah.
and they report to Billy. Yes, that maintenance person is going to report to Billy. Insurance improvement recommendations was reviewed for all departments, and Misty carried that out. She did a good job. And I believe we have a discount in our insurance
Yeah.
coming up. We discussed the
Safety benefits, we got an $800 refund following the recommendations. Safety benefits recommendations you asked about.
We discussed the golf course, other revenue line item information. It was Misty and Nolan that combined on that. We did a wage comparison of equipment operator to mechanics, organization of streets, parks, cemetery departments. We also, let's see,
It's new job descriptions, basically.
Yes.
Nolan wrote those up for us.
Right.
That's good.
And there were, how many, Nolan? 7
What's that?
job descriptions that you put out?
That day there was 4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, we also had discussion on employee use of facilities, and we really didn't come to a consensus of agreement with concern to it. It's my opinion that golf course people use a golf course, plunge people use plunge, and nobody else gets to use either one of them because there are additional costs involved. However, there is that 20% discount for city employees to use either one of them without being taxed. And we have the proposed ordinance 13-A.03.1, manufactured homes, general regulations, which is, I don't know, is it something that's going to go into effect? Is it going to your committee next, or?
I think it's already been in his
No,
committee
it's
and came back.
Planning and zoning,
most likely the next course will be planning and zoning once they meet again with the new planning administrator in place. Introduced the first time in your committee.
At any rate, it's quite a general regulation with regard to the types of mobile homes that are going to be accepted and what kind of skirting that they're going to allow. They're not going to allow vinyl, and they're not going to allow wood skirting. I think the wood is too much of a fire hazard to begin with, and the vinyl never holds up anyway, and they always freeze up. There's also residential B district with regard to them also. Manufactured homes are allowed as single-family dwellings when placed in accordance with local code requirements. Manufactured homes must comply with Chapter 13 of the city's code of ordinances. And that's what we had on our plate with administration.
did you say we've hired a planning and zoning person, or?
Yes, we have.
So could the rest of us at least look at the resume, or?
Sure you can. It's open in City Hall.
Come on down, let's have the.
Are they appointed
So when did
positions?
you hire this person?
You hired has to be approved by the city.
It does have to be approved, much like other positions, we offer them
It'll
a
be
position,
on the
be
agenda.
later approved by the council.
So they can't be hired until the city council.
Correct, but they will be starting Wednesday, just similar to other positions.
So they're starting work, but they
You know
haven't
how we
been
hired
hired.
the mechanic? You first had the blessing and then you're hired. Similar situation. You do have the ultimate approval authority over this position, whether or not they start. But we anticipate you trust the committee who was hired or to brought on to do the hiring process. We do have the job, resumes available if you'd like to review them.
Well, don't you think you could, you know, we've had this issue before, don't you think you could at least give us the courtesy to give the top 3 applicants and let the rest of us look? I guess
Isn't that
not,
what
thanks.
Isn't that what we have the
We had a
committee
committee
for,
for
to begin with?
Sure.
They make the
Sure.
decision?
Wes, when you oppose the position from the outset, it's going to be difficult to please you. But we do have all 3 resumes for you to come look at your convenience.
It's after the fact, Nolan.
They've been available since we started the hiring process.
Oh, really? Did you tell any of the rest of us you had applicants?
Yes, you were aware of this.
No, I wasn't.
I got a question, I'm sorry. So, it's just up to, don't take offense to this, Carl. It's just
No.
up to your committee to say whether or not what employees do and don't use the city of Hot Springs.
That's my opinion.
Is it coming up to a vote? Is it gonna be on the agenda?
I don't think it should ever come up to a vote.
At this time, no, we'll not be coming up to a vote.
I want
There's
it
been a
on
lack
the
of
agenda to
consensus.
discuss with the public next week.
It'll be on there.
Go ahead.
I think that's wrong.
Can I ask a question? Okay, so they get 20% off as city employees, and then they get 25% off if they live in the city. Right, so they get it.
That's on the membership.
Okay, so they get
No,
almost half.
sorry, it's all rates.
Pardon?
It's all rates, not just membership at the plunge. For the city discount, it's all rates, membership or daily admission. You still receive 25% off.
It's for everything.
So they don't get 20 and 25.
It's up to the council to decide that. Nothing has been
So right
set.
now, that's what they're getting, people get, they get double off.
No, right now, that's
Nobody
only
is.
the plunge employees have access to plunge free of charge. Nobody else does.
Okay, but the city employees get 25%, 20% off of
No,
membership.
not currently.
I thought they did, I thought all city employees did.
Residents get a
Residents
discount.
only, right now.
So it has nothing to do, if you don't work for the
They don't
city.
city,
you
if they don't
don't
live
get
in the
a-
city, they're not gonna get a discount.
Right, but as a city employee,
You're telling me if the
City
employee doesn't
employees
understand
don't
what's
get a
in the
discount?
You're contradicting
Let's
yourselves.
do one meeting.
yeah.
Caroline was.
I
still
thought
speaking.
that was what,
If you work at the plunge currently, you have free access to the plunge.
yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
All city employees that do not work at the plunge do not have any discounts currently to the plunge.
They don't have any discount. I
Except
thought
for
they-
a city residency discount if they live in the
Which is
city.
25.
Just like anyone in the audience
Right.
who lives in the city.
Okay, I thought they were getting,
That's what we discussed and talked about, but as I said, it was my opinion that nobody should get anything.
other than
It
what
was
they already
discussed.
get, other than what they already get.
Right. As residents of the city.
Wes, did you have a comment?
Nope.
Okay, Carl is done, so I'm gonna, Georgia, you're meeting next week, right?
Yeah, there were a couple of things that we did, or I did visit with at the plunge. We have a new assistant manager that is starting today, I believe. And we have a new sauna that's up and running, a new steam room that's working, and we are doing the hiring for the new maintenance. We're doing the interviews on that. Mueller Center has a new water softener that's been installed, the new dishwasher's installed, and a new ice machine.
Good.
Okay?
I do have a question, I guess, so help me understand this. The maintenance person for the plunge is actually working for the street department, so we will have to budget more money for the street department to supply a maintenance person for the Evans Plunge, is that correct?
That,
No.
those funds will
Now, you
be,
just said Billy was to oversee the maintenance man for the plunge. So how does that work, I guess?
When he works for the streets, he gets paid out of the streets. When he works at the plunge, he gets paid out of the plunge.
He's not gonna be working the
That's
streets.
just the way they are now.
He's not gonna work the streets, he's gonna be the maintenance man at the plunge.
But
And
he's also
whatever
the
he's there,
maintenance man
he'll
for
get
everybody
paid.
else.
We hired a maintenance man at one time for the city, and he never left Evans Plunge. And that's the way I see this position. There is so much work that has to be done down there. This person's never gonna leave Evans Plunge. So you're kind of doing a chameleon deal here.
But that's where the budget is.
But the difference is too, we have a different manager for him. It's a co-manager, basically, position.
Well, we want someone with expertise in maintenance to be aware of what's going on at the plunge, so they can work as a team when we need to have teamwork done down there, as opposed to having someone working in a vacuum that really can't get things done sometimes by
So you're
themselves.
saying your manager doesn't really understand what maintenance needs to be done at the plunge, is what you're really saying?
you don't seem to be able to wrap your head around the fact
I
that
don't.
when he works for streets, he gets paid by
He
streets.
won't be working for the streets.
How do you know that? Are you a
Because-
foreteller of the future or
Because
what?
we hired a
Wes,
position.
what would you like us to do different, since you're
Well,
not?
I just
okay,
can't grasp.
Because you're just saying
The
no.
maintenance man for the Evans Plunge actually works for the street department. I don't understand
That's
that.
not true.
Okay.
He's
They
gonna
are
work for
not-
both.
In your world, you
He's
spend.
gonna work for both.
Is
And
it
when he
that-
works for the plunge, he gets paid out of the plunge.
Okay, we'll keep track. of
When he
how much
works
time
out of the
he leaves.
streets, he gets paid out of streets.
All right.
Is it that you want Billy kind of supervising this person?
I want, it might just be a short-term type of thing, but we want to make sure someone with maintenance experience is overseeing the maintenance person so that we have quality work done. And he has support. I don't know who the candidates we're trying to not continue the problems we've had there. We're trying to improve the situation.
We've seen a lot of progress the last few weeks, having streets workers at the plunge, especially one individual. We need to keep that open line of communication between the streets and the plunge open, using Billy and this arrangement. We'll see continued progress. That's my new arrangement.
There's been 2 or 3 street department employees down there at the plunge for, I don't know how many weeks. There hasn't just been one. I mean, she can tell us the numbers.
There's been multiple, but
Yeah,
there's
for
been
the
one
last 2 weeks,
significantly.
there was one person
Done
from
a great
streets.
job doing
Prior
it
to that,
where we're at.
there were several.
There were several, that is correct. I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars worth of street department employee labor spent down there.
Yeah, it was billed to the plunge. The time that they're at the plunge is billed.
Yeah, that's what the goal
That has no
was.
money, so we'll bill it to them even though they have no money. Okay.
They
have a budget,
They have
don't
a
they?
budget, they have a maintenance
We
budget.
approved the
that
budget
you
for 'em.
approved.
Yes, Carl, but they're not making any money, so it doesn't matter.
So that's a very false.
Georgia, are you done?
That's a false
Okay.
statement.
And you didn't have a meeting, right, Caroline?
Show me what their revenue was
All
for
right,
last
Wes,
month.
did you have a parks meeting?
Yes, we did.
Could you please report?
We discussed Gerald's issue at Butler Park. We discussed the new playground equipment at Brookside. We discussed the soccer fields up at Butler and the old mud run equipment. And I talked to Kim, I guess, and she's gonna get that stuff picked up. The street guys leveled everything out up there, it looks good. Hopefully we're gonna get going on this playground equipment before long and get it installed, I guess. And get that thing finalized, I guess, so the kids can utilize it. Well, we're still waiting on information. That's about all we talked about.
Okay. Yeah, we look forward to the new playground equipment at Brookside soon. Thank you. I'll read Mike's statement for public safety. As you may be aware from the Star last week, we rolled out the Youth Commendation Award Program in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce. We also have a couple familiar faces that made the front page of the Rapid City Journal today, also talking about this program in Hot Springs. We've also received quite a bit of positive feedback, and even residents of Rapid City that have read it have given our chief and Nolan some kudos for that. So it's being well received. The reserve class graduates graduate this week on the 22nd. And we're hoping that that will help deter graffiti and vandalism that we've had lately. They've purchased the radar speed sign for the north end of town. This will be installed by the DOT soon. Do we have a date on that?
They have the one call in, after that's taken care of, the installation will happen the week after.
Okay.
Where the emergency DOT room.
Thank you.
Where will that be?
385 by the Dewdrop Inn,
Right by the Dewdrop?
where the 25-mile sign's currently at.
Okay.
And replace that with the digital one, just like Wind Caves has theirs set up like.
Okay.
The second public safety forum will be on May 2nd. It will coincide with the 4-H Children's Carnival. The focus will be on promoting bicycle and pedestrian safety. And then also the city is working to do a better job controlling intersections, and many yield signs have been purchased or ordered.
We're pricing them still.
We're pricing them still, okay. And then we'll do a better job of standardizing our existing traffic signs and making sure streets are more clearly marked with street sign names.
What about no U-turn signs?
For the
Are we
downtown
gonna do
area.
anything about that?
We actually own quite a few.
It's not been brought up recently, no.
Well, I'm bringing it up to you.
Just a month ago.
Thank you for getting that nice article in the paper about Hot Springs. That's
Okay.
good.
Yeah. Okay, Dwight, you had a good meeting?
Pretty short, actually. April 14th, we had a meeting, myself, Tim, Nolan, Craig, and Wes were there. We talked about the trickle filter and the change order we're going to have to do. There was a discussion to add some curb and gutter on the east side of Fern Circle, which is on the back on the golf course, and consensus of the committee was not at this time. I guess there's a property owner that's not real happy with what the new stuff we put in out there. Discuss the trade-in of the swap with the spin doctor and the chainsaw. Airport vertical tilling and planning proposal from Mr. Tom Lowing. The recommendation of the committee was we just hired an assistant manager out there. It was to have the airport do their own disc and seed, if we do any seeding this year, if we get any rain. Because if we seed now and we don't get any rain, it's just like throwing money down the tube. But we got a pretty decent tractor and a disc out there, I believe, don't we, Ed?
No.
No?
They were
There's discs.
I think so. So that was the recommendation of the committee, was to have the airport personnel
I
do that
think they
work.
talked about waiting until the fall, is
Yeah,
that
the
right?
most recent decision was, given the rainfall we've received, is to defer until the fall. And also Pekin and Sons, I guess, progressing, or hopefully progressing, see how that plays out as well for the area.
And there was another demonstration of the asphalt zipper. And quite a few of these smiling faces were there. And I'll leave it at that. I think that machine would be pretty beneficial for keeping our streets up. And it's a pretty expensive machine now. And,
How expensive?
2029. But the plan was to finance it, and you wouldn't have any payments until 2015 or 2016, which would allow you all to budget for this fall, or when budget time comes around. And that would be split three ways. That payment of $28,000 a year would be split between water, sewer, and streets, because all three departments will use it. So,
How big a swath does it take?
4 foot.
Do we have the manpower to run that machine and
Yeah.
use it enough?
Yeah.
Or would we have to hire anybody else? I haven't talked to someone west about that.
No, Kurt
No.
is more than capable of doing it. running
One
that
person
thing.
can run.
No, you gotta have two people to run it, you gotta commit 2 people to run the machine, so I mean, you're gonna have to commit 2 people and however long you wanna dedicate to do it.
We spent $60,000 worth of contract this year
To do the
to do
alleys.
some alleys. So that would have paid for half the machine almost. So
We got lots of valley.
we have lots of roads in alleys, so
But that's it, that's all I have.
thank you, Dwight. Craig?
We had a short meeting, I think it was like a week and a half ago. It was to inform everybody about who got the bid for opening up the new cell. And it was Barker's at $350,000. They did a change order to start covering the old cell. But I do not remember how much it was, it's in my
Oh,
paper.
that's okay.
And that's all we discussed in the short meeting.
I have some questions about that for you, Craig. Is it true that the Barkers are responsible for filling this up with contaminated radioactive waste from Wyoming?
No,
And how do you
we're
know
not
that to be
taking any
true?
of that. Nobody's hauling it in right now.
Have they
It
done?
has been for years, and
In
that
the
the state
past,
has
they
now
have.
mandated that contaminated landfill be built, or land farm, which was on the referendum for voting this past election. And the votes have not been counted.
They haven't taken that soil out of Wyoming for probably 5-6 months.
And it's radioactive, right?
No.
No, oil.
Drill cuttings from radioactive. sites.
It comes from oil
That
wells.
doesn't ring a bell.
not
Well,
retroactive.
I did provide, we asked some questions as well, and it was in your manila folders in the hallway. We did get a email back from Linda Miles. Is that-
Linda Mines.
Mines.
Secretary.
So I encourage you all to read that because we did ask the question. You might want to take a peek at her response.
DNR oversees this landfill. This is a multi-county landfill. This is not just like a private landfill.
No, I understand that. It's Custer, Fall River County, and I just think it's very unfair to the taxpayer to have private individuals who are contracted to take in items into this area, fill it up faster than need be.
They're using that for
And-
top cover. It's an accepted top cover.
They're
Would you like
filling
it at your
themselves with
house?
that.
That's why they have these sites, Deanna.
Okay.
See, somebody's paying us to bring that dirt in to cover it, so we don't have to buy the dirt to bring it in?
It's not radioactive.
You could come to some meetings, I'll let you know.
They
the
do
next
have
meeting.
open forum meetings, they do have a website, and, I think that, if you look at what I provided you, and I know you're more aware than some others, but you're welcome.
There'll be another meeting next month.
In May. I'll let you know. the
I'll
date.
be sure to attend.
Okay,
Okay. That
that's
it?
all I have.
All right, thank you for,
Can I ask Craig?
Sure,
Any
please.
news on tires
Yeah,
for
we
this
won't be
year?
doing it for a while. You only get it like every 5 years, you have to apply for it, and we did it, 2 years ago?
Mhm.
So it'll be another probably 3 years before the landfill actually applies.
And maybe just another reminder that it will be free dump week.
well, I was gonna.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
Didn't mean to steal your show.
I have nothing to say now. No, Misty?
Do you want me to speak into a microphone?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, you have that gentle voice.
I could hear it.
That's what your kids told us, but.
Last week on Thursday, I was able to attend the Black Hills Area Finance Officers Association meeting in Wall, thanks to your encouragement to go. There were 14 cities in attendance, mostly finance officers, a few water clerks. It was a roundtable discussion, 5.5 hours the meeting was. Less educational, it was more informational, but being new to my position, I got a lot out of it, so thank you, council, for encouraging me to go. Tomorrow, I attend a training in Rapid City that South Dakota Retirement System is putting on. Their new GASB, which is the Government Auditing Standards Board, new statements required for 2015 and 2016 regarding reporting for retirement benefits. So I'll be going to a half-day training tomorrow in Rapid City around those new statements. Today, we had our first Finance Committee meeting. Thank you for supporting me in that. We covered a lot of things, talked about meeting times. We are going to meet every Monday at 10 a.m. for the second council meeting of the month to discuss all things finance related. We did establish some goals and objectives. We reviewed revenue and expenditures for 2014. We discussed our 2013 financial statements, a few new forms that we'd like to implement, and talked about a procurement policy that we'll be putting together for your review. Let's see, I will be requesting to use contingency money to pay for our pre-auditing and accounting services and our auditing services, so look for that coming up. Once I request it and you approve it, then we'll be taking that money from the contingency account so that you know exactly how much is left for any other requests for information. Debbie and I have both been very busy with the day-to-day stuff, but also working with our accountants and auditors, taking boxes of documents to Rapid City for them to review their testing and working on the 13 audits and working hard at it. She's every day coming with 2 or 3 more requests for information. So looking forward to having that completed by May 31st, which was their objective. I think that's about all I got.
Thank you, Misty. Nolan?
Just want to make 2 quick announcements. First off, I want to formally thank the volunteers who helped out this last weekend for the spring fling. We had an Evans Plunge booth, and we staffed by myself, but also volunteers filtered in throughout the day. And then our Barbara Walter, she's here as well. She helped staff it and coordinate that effort. So thank you to everybody that had a hand in making that a success. The second thing was May 22nd, we are doing a city auction combined with Fall River County. That'll be at the MRF, starting at 10 a.m. May 4th, I believe our next council meeting will surplus the items officially, but it should be a very large auction. We have over 4 pages of stuff to auction away that's not being currently used by the city, bringing in more revenue and getting rid of old 498 Rangers. So I'm excited for that.
Are you going to be our auctioneer?
I'm going to be in Ireland, so no,
Oh.
I'm not. We are doing it through Brandine, splitting the cost
Okay.
for advertising
And
and
get
the
in one
auction.
of your bags. And go with it.
Ready just to carry on. I don't know how compact you go, but we are doing it with Fall River County, sharing the cost of advertising, and then 10% revenue from the sales. So we're excited for that.
These days, I'm gonna get somebody to finance that trip.
Check USD, that's who's doing mine.
All right, thank you, Nolan. We'll see you at the next council, but then we'll miss you at the next one. As Dwight brought up, I do want to reiterate that this is, that's okay. The city cleanup free dump week. That the first one is this week. We have another one in June 22nd, August 24th, and October 26th. And we really want to encourage the community to take advantage of this and clean up their yards and anything else that they need to be dumping, except for tires. No tires.
We do have a list at City Hall explaining exactly what it is we do take.
Yeah, it's available on Facebook, City Hall,
And website.
website. But it's a great thing to take advantage of, I think. Isn't that great?
Yes.
No radioactive wood and
Is it this week, Cindy, or next week?
This
Starts this week.
It's today.
Started today.
Today, started today.
last week.
The flyer does give dates for the whole 2015 year as well, so if you're planning ahead for renovation projects, 2015, all the dates.
The other thing I wanted to do was thank my staff for covering for me last week. We just had a major fire and a few other things happen while I was gone. I appreciate them keeping me informed of the activities. You guys did a great job of keeping things rolling along, and I really appreciate that. I had a great time at the wedding too, so. If anybody ever wonders, we really do have dedicated staff in the city of Hot Springs, and I am very grateful for them, and they're really stepping up and doing their jobs really well. So I want to thank all of them. I want to thank you all for coming to this. I really do appreciate it, and being patient when we were late. We had executive session first tonight, and I want to thank the council for supporting that schedule change. And we look forward to a couple new employees coming up, and we'll be fully staffed, I think, at that point, so. Please. So, thank you all for those on the committees that were working on that, appreciate it.
I got a quick question. Have we ever heard anything about our easement out in Colburn?
Easement out in Colburn.
The lot.
Oh, no. What I'm gonna do, and I talked to Kent Hansen about that, is when we have the new building inspector and city planner involved, we're gonna pull together a committee. He's made a request to take that easement from 66 feet to 33 feet. And so what I talked to him about was that I would put together a committee when we had a new planning and zoning group together to look at that. So I did put that off until we get this new hire and give them a little bit of time.
Wasn't it our attorney that wanted the 66?
Yeah, why would we go to 33 feet?
The reason I think I saw was because it's in the creek.
There's a reason we wanted that.
Then we need to have the committee address that, and I'm fine with the decision staying as it is, but I committed to him that we would look at it again for his
You need to
request.
ask Carol, 'cause there's a reason for it. No.
Carol is aware of his request, and she did not give me any specific reason to not move forward with at least addressing, his
Well, I have no
request.
problem.
I remember what you're saying, though. I remember there being some
For
reason.
some reason.
We wanted to do that
Well,
that way. I think of what it was.
It's gotta be in writing somewhere.
Part of it is for fire access too, for two vehicles to meet 66 is what it is,
Well,
but.
but two vehicles couldn't go through there.
No, They did
Yeah, I was
agree.
gonna say, no matter what the easement is, the road won't allow that.
That's true, and that's
So,
what.
Because he did a very nice formal request for us to review it, I told him I would entertain that when we had a new building, planning and zoning committee. So if anybody's interested from the community in being on a planning and zoning committee, and then I'll of course have a couple from the council in there as well. But that's gonna come up probably more like mid-May, and he's being patient about it, so. Appreciate you asking, so I could give you an update on that. I am officially done.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Whatever the rest we're talking about.